Alright, so in this STEM problem solving walkthrough, we are going to be writing a function in Python which tells us if a given integer is even or odd. So I'm going to get started by solving the problem part first. So if we input an integer k, how do we know if an integer is even or odd? Let's write out some even integers. We know there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. I can go on and on and on, but you notice a characteristic in all of these is they're all multiple of 2. So if an integer k is even, it's a multiple of 2, right? So like 14 is a multiple of 2, and 4 is a multiple of 2. These are all multiples of 2. So even numbers are just multiples of 2. Now odd numbers. Let's write out some odd numbers. Now, you think there's no pattern in odd numbers, right? Many of odd numbers are multiples of 3, but many odd numbers are also prime, right? We have 5, we have 3, we have 7, we have 11, we have 13, we have 17, 19, 23. We have all sorts of primes which are odds. So odd numbers are the only numbers that can be prime. So 2, however, a 2 is an exception. 2 is the only even number that's prime. But leaving prime aside, we notice that if an integer k is odd, it needs to be a multiple of 2. And how do we check if it's a multiple of 2? Well, k mod 4, or not k mod 2 needs to be equal to 0, right? So k mod 2 needs to be equal to 0, because k modulus 2 will tell us if the remainder is, what the remainder is. So if I take an input 4 and I do compute 4 mod 2, what am I going to get? I'm going to give you a second to think about this problem. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. There's no remainder. So it's just going to be 0. So now we know our if statement. So now we can just write a program. I'm going to keep our annotations so we can go back to our annotations if needed. But now we're start writing the code. We're going to define the function even or and it's going to be named O. And then let's write the body of the function. Now the body of the function, we will write, so in the body of the function, we're going to write if O mod 2 equals 0, then we are going to return, since it's a function, it's even. Because let's think about this for a second. If we go back to our annotations, if k mod 2 is equal to 0, then k must be even, right? Let's just think about this. There's no odd number that is a multiple of 2. There's no, you're going to keep going, it's going to be even numbers. So we've narrowed it down using some basic range. Now, it's even if O modulus 2 is equal to 0. So we're going to return it's even. Else we are going to return it's odd. Now, if a number is not a multiple of 2, it's odd. That's just basic math. If you're going to test if a number is odd or even, you need to see if it is divisible by 2. So if I were to test if, let's say, is 100, let's say we want to test if 216 is even or odd. I think you already know the answer, but let's just test it anyways. Is 216 even or odd? Well, is 216 a multiple of 2? So we just divide 216 by 2. I think you already probably saw this coming, but we've tested that 216 is even by checking if it's divisible by 2. So that's how our program is going to work. Return it's odd else. And you can also use elif. You can also use elif, and then so the elif statement could be like elif, like I don't know, like you could like do the opposite of 0 mod, like if it's not. But I would just use an else statement because if it's not a multiple of 2, it's odd. It's not even. If it's not even, it's odd. And then we have to print, and we're gonna do a couple test cases, even or odd, and I'll test 2, and we'll see if our program works. It's even. Now 2 is even, obviously, right? First even number, 2. Let's test 3. Now we should get an output of odd. It's odd. So currently our program is working. Now let's test for some bigger numbers, like 1005. And obviously 1005 is odd. We know that. Let's test 1000. 1000 is even. Now, let's test 0. And it works. 0 is even, if you did not know that. So 0 will return even. Now, I'll do a couple more test cases just to see if this actually works. 58. It's even. 52. It's even. 53. It's odd. Okay. So our program works, and that is how you write a function which tells if any given integer is odd or even. Hopefully this video was helpful, and yeah.